Here we go, folks. Drag week day one. There's nothing more stressful, exciting. It's a combination of a bunch of emotions. Day one getting started. Just want to make that one pass down the track. Hopefully get a one and done, hit the road, especially because day one usually has a pretty long drive. That is the case here. Well, Jansen got the first run of the week because he just had Keith give him a 20-second time slip since he had transmission issues, and he started the drive immediately at 8 o'clock in the morning or 8:30 in the morning after the driver's meeting wrapped up. So here's a picture of all of us together, and then also a picture of all of the fuel that got me through the week, which is obviously White Monster. And yeah, and then I have all of our passes, some of our personal videos, and then also I clipped the live stream. And I'll step in to talk about all the runs in between there. So check it out.
The Viper powered pickup truck, the SRT10 Dodge Ram. Andy,
Savinicus.
say it.
It is.
Savakinas.
Savakinas.
Close enough. We'll give you close enough on that one.
I said it to his face yesterday. You had to ask. That's the problem.
You were thinking of Leviticus, which you were
Savakinas.
likely reading this morning to prepare for your day.
This is an actual SRT10. Savakinas.
Andrew Dwarshus on the left-hand side in the Camaro. And Andy goes 1104, 121 of the truck. 1170, 120. How about the...
All right, you just watched my first pass. A lot of good things happened in it. Nitrous worked the way it should for second and part of third gear. That's all I sprayed. I was getting close to the rev limiter in third gear, so I actually shut the nitrous off. And I wish I would have left it on a half a second longer, so it would have been a 10-second slip. But 166 60-foot time, which is like a hundredth off of my best ever. Finally got into the sixes in the 8th mile, over 100 miles an hour in the 8th mile, and it went 11:04 at 121. So a lot of personal bests on that first pass, and it gave me hope that we were going to have a real strong week, because now I knew how I was going to get it to go 10s, or so I thought. So let's move on. I believe Nate is next, so we'll look at Nate's run. One more thing, I almost forgot. There's a little clip coming up here that is, if you've been following along long enough, you know at Drag Week 2021 I offered Freiberger $100 to pronounce my name correctly. He has proceeded to pronounce it correctly every year except for when Loans prompted him and asked him what it was. He said it wrong again. This is a funny little thing that they said where he wanted me to come back up and offer him $100 and say his name right. So listen to this clip too.
You know, I want Andy to just come up here and give me the $100 again. That's what my game is.
That's
yeah.
You're just trying to get paid.
Yeah.
Savvy. A savvy businessman.
Okay, now we're on Nate's pass. Some issues he was having leaving. He could not get the thing to 60 foot. Can't get to the 2-step RPM or on the converter without it pushing through the front brakes. So his 60-foot time is terrible. The ET is not what he was looking for, but the mile an hour would put the car exactly where he wants it to be. So check out the videos.
That's a good one.
Nate Bender, third gen GTA Pontiac, pushing its front tires through the beams. Alan Bishop in the Mustang of 2012 model year construction.
7,000 people listening to us with our office space routine in here.
1337.2 for the poncho.
You can see and hear in the live stream that Loans even pointed out how the car pushes through the beams with the front tires. So I'm not sure what the fix would be there, short of a trans brake. A trans brake would probably get it done for him, and with a 4L80 in it, there is a way to do a sloppy trans brake, and that's what Nate should do. He's not going to watch this video most likely, so he won't hear me say that, so I'll just tell him in person that he should put a sloppy trans brake on his 4L80. Up next then is Jeremy with the second SRT10, and it's funny how Loans calls it out and says, I don't think we've ever had two SRT10s. I believe he is correct. There's never been two. There's one that ran years ago, Dom, and he's thinking about coming back. He's talked about coming back. I hope he does finally make the jump and come back, because his is way quicker and will represent the community much better than mine or Jeremy's has. And that's not a knock on ours. Our stuff is still cool, but it's not Dom's truck. But check out Jeremy's run.
Club 85 108. This might be the first time in Drag Week history we've had two SRT10 trucks at the same place at the same time.
Yeah, and this guy's actually a customer of Savakinas with the other red one.
Nice. Oh, and it's a six-speed.
Right. And of course, I prefer the regular cab version to the crew cab. But yeah, genuine Viper powered SRT 10 truck. But he's going to go down.
1150.
Yeah,
1153 119 if the Oldsmobile, 1262 for the truck.
All right, there you have it. Everybody went one and done. Everybody was happy until they weren't. Nate went to leave and lost all the gears in his transmission, and we found that his filter was blocked. One of the things that did not get done in his mad thrash to get it done was to service the transmission. So we serviced the transmission in the MIR parking lot. That got us a very, 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 very late start leaving the track, and we hit the checkpoints, but that was not the end of our issues. I'll show you a couple pictures from the checkpoints and come back at the end and talk about the rest of the issues we had and just how late we completed our day one. All right, checkpoint one was TPC Racing, which they do a lot of Porsche endurance stuff. They also have a high-end car dealership there. Really cool checkpoint, but we got there kind of late. They had most of the stuff closed down, and that was when Jeremy let us know that his right front caliper was sticking on his truck. Here's a picture of that. I didn't shoot any video, but here's a picture of him working on that. Now, in the middle of working on that, they tell us that they need to close and lock the lot, so we need to get our vehicles off of the lot. So the only solution we had at this point in time was to vice grip the brake line and make that caliper not usable. So that's what we did. And it can't get any worse, right? It couldn't possibly get any worse. It didn't really get worse, but it doesn't get better. We're driving down the road and Jeremy starts to smell burning rubber, and his brake line just moved enough that it was starting to, well, I guess the hose was starting to rub on the inside of the tire. So he had to reposition that on the side of the road. Here's a picture of that, of us sitting on the side of the road, and we're not even at the second checkpoint yet. All right, so second checkpoint was Round the Clock Diner in York, which you see we made, and then I also had a picture of our last fuel stop, which I thought was cool because it was the biggest mishmash of non-conventional drag week builds. It's the two SRT10 Rams, Jesse Harris's Cummins swapped C10, the Mercedes diesel swapped Chevette that his son drives, and then Paul Mengelsdorf in his electric swapped 40 Chevy Coupe. Literally, there's no other place in the world you would see that mishmash of vehicles. So I thought that was cool. But we were still an hour and a half away from the shop, and I had to go to the shop to package all of the orders that came in the time that we were gone and get parts for Jeremy to continue on his journey. So, rough day one. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better, right? It has to get better. Well, day two video is coming in a couple days, so you're gonna have to watch to find out if it did indeed get better. Thanks for watching.